From service to strength, from questions to choice, guidance you trust, her vet voice.
Yep, we are here live and in color in a late night session. Hello, HVB family. How are you? I hope you had an amazing day. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to Her Vet Voice. If you are joining me tonight, I am glad that you are here in our late night session. And I know that some of the HVB gang will see and be like, what? But thank you anyway for spending part of your evening with me. And tonight we are going to do a late night live to break down this week's hearing on the Take Care of American Veterans Act, also known as the famous TCAVA. We will discuss what happened in the hearing. We'll play the hearing, talk about a little bit of the key issues that were raised, what was proposed with the legislation, how they're feeling, and most importantly, what it could mean for veterans. My goal, here is to help you stay informed so you can become better at understanding the changes that takes place that affects our veterans and ourselves, along with veterans in the community. So grab you a cup, whatever it is, jump in the chat. Let's get started. Thank you guys who are here for joining me tonight. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we are here late tonight. I hope you guys have your popcorn ready because they showed out in this hearing. I was going to schedule this for tomorrow, but I really wanted to talk about something else tomorrow. So I decided that after going to dinner, hanging out with my family earlier, that I would come and hang out with you guys. Hey, the Mad Researcher. Oh, Charleston, evening from PA. We got rid of the smoke and now the thunderstorms. Yes, I heard it's been raining. Hey, Toya, you are up, sweating it out in Texas. It's 92 degrees right now. Where I'm at too is 92 degrees. Hey, Grace, it's good to have you. And of course, my good friend Betty is here. How are you on this lovely Saturday? I hope you had an amazing day today, Betty. And you guys can say hi to each other in the chat. But anyway, I wanted to come up here. So if you guys can hear my dryer going, it's because it's next to my content room. And as much as I want to have it nice and quiet, the dryer never fails. It's a brand new dryer and it still makes sense. I don't know. But anyway, that's just another story for another day. Me and Whirlpool and Lowe's we just don't have a good relationship right now. But anyway, let's get into this hearing. Now we know that Bose showed out. We know that he showed out. So I don't want to prolong it because there's going to be a lot to go on. So let me just go on down here and we can go. I hope I have it on the right spot because I tried so hard to get it where
it's for veterans and the administration of the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Pursuant to House Resolution 1423, the amendment printed in Part B of House Report 119-749 is adopted, and the bill as amended is considered read. The bill as amended shall be debatable for 1 hour, equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Veteran Affairs or their respective designees. The gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Bost, and the gentleman from California, Mr. Takano, each will control 30 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Bost.
Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days in which to revise and extend their remarks and insert extenuous material in the record on H.R. 9237.
Without objection.
Speaker, I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in strong support of my bill, H.R. 92.
Wait, y'all, isn't this the same suit he had on the day before? Anyway, let's go. I can't. I know I'm petty tonight.
The Take Care of Americans Veterans Act. As a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, for me, this bill is personal. When a young man or woman raises their right hand and agrees to serve this country, America makes a promise. That promise does not end when a service member is wounded. It is my goal and the goal of my friend, Senator Jerry Moran, to deliver on that promise. This bill would be one of the most comprehensive veterans packages considered by Congress in a decade. This bill includes more than 60 bipartisan provisions that would improve health care, benefits, operations, and accountability across the VA.
Who that man not?
Speaker, I would like to tell you more about some of the important provisions. One is the Major Richard Starr Act.
Hit the like button.
For
Yeah.
decades, medically retired combat injured veterans have had their military retirement offset dollar for dollar by their VA disability. While some disabled veterans who served 20 years receive both are tens of thousands
He
of
lying.
combat injured veterans who currently do not. Many combat injured veterans would have served longer if their injuries had not taken the opportunity for them. H.R. 9237 would help end that injustice.
Y'all hit the like
It would
button.
end the offset for combat injured veterans, allowing them to receive both benefits up to and what a 20-year retiree with the same disability would receive. Members on both sides of the aisle and veteran service organizations support this and have for years. But a press release, a handshake, and a discharge petition does not end the wounded warrior tax. This bill will.
Mm.
The Love Lives On Act is another important provision included in this bill. Currently, surviving spouses lose their benefit if they remarry before age 55.
Mm.
But those benefits were earned by their spouses, sacrificing for this country. The Love Lives On Act
Great.
would allow surviving spouses to remarry at any age. Another important provision in this bill is the Sherry Briley and Eric Edmondson Veterans Benefit Expansion Act. This bill provides a long-awaited increase to catastrophically disabled veterans and surviving spouses. Eric was 25 years old when the IED left him with a fractured spine and a traumatic brain injury. H.R. 9237 would increase his benefit for catastrophic disabled veterans like Eric by $10,000 a year. It would also increase benefits for surviving spouses. These American families have not seen a meaningful increase in decades. Speaker, this bill also includes the Veterans Access Act. Veterans should be able to access health care in their own communities. Too many veterans still facing delays, confusion, and barriers when trying to use VA community care. This bill would also improve the mental health care and community-based suicide prevention. A veteran's health care should be driven by the veteran's needs, not by government control. H.R. 9237 would improve education benefits, vocational training to help veterans transition into civilian life. It would modernize the VA's claim and appeals process so veterans have a system that works for them. It would streamline the way VA handles construction, leasing, contracting, IT, and finances.
You hear that?
The Take Care of American Veterans Act would expand benefits, push VA to do better.
Mm.
Speaker, I also want to address how this bill is funded, as I have heard a lot of misinformation about this point. H.R. 9237 would codify VA's own pending regulation on how to evaluate sleep apnea and tinnitus effect on a veteran's workplace earnings. This regulation was proposed by the Biden-era VA in 2022.
Here we go.
Created by a VA team of doctors and researchers. It was part of VA's efforts to modernize its disability rating schedule created in the 1940s. President Biden's Undersecretary for Benefits, Josh Jacobs, testified in favor of these changes at his confirmation hearing. Earlier this year, VA's Executive Director of Compensation confirmed plans to finalize these changes this year. These are not new ideas, and there is nothing unprecedented about this. This bill would not eliminate disability ratings for sleep apnea or tinnitus. It would not automatically, in any veteran's current disability rating, be reduced. Future veterans with sleep apnea will still get treatment through the VA healthcare. But if a CPAP
Lord
eliminates your
have
symptoms,
mercy.
VA would compensate you less.
This got to be a joke, y'all. This got to be a joke. This is why I wanted to do this late at night, so the other people can be sleeping. Because you trying to tell me that CPAP, this what you calling it, but you know everything going on with veterans? Y'all, he sends me. He sends
Currently, the amount of compensation for sleep apnea is often more than the amount that a veteran receives if they lose a limb. This change just is common sense. It's why VA has worked hard to propose these changes like these that reflect modern medicine. For tinnitus, VA has found it's best understood as a symptom of another condition, such as hearing loss or TBI.
I'll answer your question, Charles.
Under the proposed change, tinnitus would still be rated as part of another underlying condition. This is not about denying these conditions exist. So let's be clear. This is not cutting
working them to
benefits.
death.
No one will lose their benefits that are receiving them.
Stop lying.
It is about making sure VA rating schedule follows modern science and using those savings to fund the expansion of benefits and other VA programs. Mr. Speaker, if we don't pass HR 9237 today, VA can make these rating changes as planned, but the savings would go back to one place,
Hit the
big
like button,
government.
y'all.
I want those savings instead to go to the pockets and the benefits for millions of veterans and their family. Speaker, as a United States Marine veteran, you can bet your bottom dollar that I believe that this bill would not harm a single veteran, and I would not bring it forward to this floor if I thought it would. Veterans do not need a bill that makes members feel good for a day and then dies in the Senate.
Look at them.
They need legislation that can pass.
Look at them.
Speaker, veterans groups agree. I'd like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a letter from 20 different veterans organizations in support of this legislation.
Without objection.
Veterans groups from the American Legion to the Wounded Warrior Project support this bill.
Look at her.
Survivor groups like the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors support this bill.
Very much so.
Caregivers organizations like the Elizabeth Dole Foundation support this bill. They all want this bill to pass. Chairman Moran and I have worked for months to try to enact a law that will help the greatest number of veterans. I believe we have offered that kind of package today. I want to take a moment to share what we've heard directly from veterans. Mission Roll Call, a national nonpartisan organization dedicated to serving veterans and their families,
Who this man right
recently
here?
conducted a survey on my bill. They found 71% of veterans support the bill. I think that's a clear choice. Speaker, as our nation observes its 250th birthday, HR 9237 asks a simple question. Do we have veterans back? Do we have the back of fellow Americans who raise their right hand to serve in defense of this great country? The Gold Star families who carry the cost of their loved one's sacrifice. Caregivers who every single day care for disabled veteran family member. For me, the answer will always be yes, both during service and after. I urge all of my colleagues to support the Take Care of American Vets Act, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Yeah.
Gentleman reserves. The gentleman from California is recognized.
Okay, so I want to pause this for a moment, and I want to have a moment of silence for the 7 U.S. soldiers that have been killed. This is why it is important that we don't get these benefits cuts because, as you can see, we are at a war that we did not ask for, and our soldiers are being killed, and their family members are left without them. So I want to take a moment of silence for that. This is why the Major Richard Starr Act should be passed, is because when you go into combat and you become injured and they medically retire you, your pay is only given at a certain percentage. It's a certain amount that you get. You do not get your full retirement. This is what the Major Richard Starr Act is for. So these soldiers who are in combat right now, who are either going to be injured or not injured as yet, or whatever the case may be, mentally, physically, whatever it is, they will get put out the military and given a small stipend with their VA benefits and sent on their way. So you over here trying to cut tinnitus, but the same people right now who are fighting the war is going to have that ring in their ear once they return back. They're going to have respiratory issues from all the dust and the sand and all the other stuff that they are over there breathing in that filth. So, Charleston, you had a question. Does Social Security spouse benefit stop also on remarry? So, yes, it does stop if you're a spouse of a veteran and you receive DIC. If you remarry before the age of 55, then the benefits stop. Now, part of the TCAVA, part of the TCAVA, one of the things that they had in there was that regardless of if you get married or not, you will still be able to keep your benefits. So that was one of the propositions in TCAVA that he was talking about. So if your spouse passed away and you decide that you want to be remarry, you should still be able to collect what your previous spouse, had entitled for you, and still be able to, move on with your life and find the love of your life. Finding another love of your life should never stop you from getting a benefit, right? Which I truly get. It's not a lot of money anyway, because the VA ain't giving a lot of money. Hit the like button, y'all. Okay. The greatest number of veterans, it targets combat veterans. Yes, yes. Yeah, Representative Both, you've got a big back. Yeah, none lose their benefits. None lose their benefits today. Yet the same benefits won't be allowed for veterans that follow, and the door will be open for future reductions. Yes. CRSD and social SSDI doesn't help me completely take care of family. I understand, because I get CRSD, and when I look at it, I can barely see it. Okay? I can barely see it. I get CRSD. Yeah. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Praying for the soldiers we lost and their families. Yes. If you get remembered, you don't. Now, St. Andrew 911. St. Andrew 911. Let's be nice. Let's be kind. Okay? I understand this is how you feel, but let's be nice. Okay? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman from California is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in strong opposition to H.R. 9237. It's a beautiful day here in Washington, D.C., but Republicans are casting a dark cloud over all of us, and especially over America's veterans. We have before us today a bill that, despite its name, does the exact opposite of taking care of veterans.
They sure do.
It enshrines into law the largest cut to veterans' benefits ever in the history of this nation. The premise of this bill is that some veterans must be made worse off in order to make others better off. Mr. Speaker, I reject that premise. I reject this bill, and I encourage others to do the same. Here's the core issue. The majority treats veterans as a zero-sum game. Cut disability pay for some to find benefits for others. That's not governing. That's rationing suffering among our nation's heroes.
Yep.
With this bill, the majority would, for the first time ever, have Congress interfere in the scientific process that determines veterans' disability ratings, overriding the expertise of medical professionals at the Department of Veterans Affairs. And Chairman Bost, I respect that you are a military veteran, but you, sir, are not a medical professional. The majority, for the first time ever, would have us cut tens of billions of dollars from veterans' disability compensation to pay for the Department of Defense obligations. This is absolutely unconscionable. Consider the math. Republicans are discussing nearly $70 billion in new Pentagon spending without offsets. They vote enthusiastically for $1.5 trillion in annual defense budgets. Yet, they insist on paying for veterans' priorities by cutting benefits with the two most common service-connected conditions. Apparently, there's no problem sending veterans the bill for the wars that Congress funds. A massive 600-page bill crafted behind closed doors and brought to the floor without careful consideration, packed with harmful provisions designed to boost a few vulnerable members' electoral prospects. For those reasons and many, many more, I cannot in good conscience support this legislation. But more important than my opposition is the opposition of the very people whom the majority claims to help, veterans themselves. Over 30 veterans service organizations and advocates oppose this legislation, including many of the largest, like the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Disabled American Veterans, Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, and numerous others. They know that reaching into the pockets of one set of veterans to provide for another is morally wrong. Creating tiers of veterans based on their period of service, treating tomorrow's veterans worse than today's is morally wrong. They will not stand for it, and neither should we. In addition to the numerous VSOs and over 24 labor unions opposing this bill, including the Union Veterans Council, American Federation of Government Employees, and AFL-CIO, so do professional associations like the American Psychological Association and the Nurses Organization of VA. They all recognize the devastating effect this legislation will have on VA's workforce and their ability to deliver high-quality care. Now, even the Mortgage Bankers Association has expressed opposition to this bill. The majority has decided that during a housing affordability crisis, it makes sense to raise costs on struggling veteran homeowners who are desperately trying to avoid foreclosure.
Thank you, Annette. Hey,
This package contains multiple harmful provisions. It would accelerate the privatization of veterans' health care, creating new grant programs for private providers that divert resources from VA mental health and PTSD programs and steer veterans into more expensive community-based care, even where VA services remain available, and strip VA psychologists of collective bargaining rights. This bill also contains numerous sections opposed by key stakeholders like Student Veterans of America, Veterans Education Success, and the American Federation of Teachers that would direct GI Bill funding toward low-quality, for-profit, unaccredited online programs. This bill contains provisions that would allow GI benefits to be used for online welding courses. Can you believe it? Explain to me how you can teach
Online
someone
welding.
online how to weld. Inexplicably, HR 9237 even includes a $500 million IT slush fund that VA will use to enrich contractors and reward the president's cronies. And the list goes on and on. We are going to hear arguments from the majority today about all the good things this bill attempts to do.
Yep.
If we exist in a vacuum, I would say that I agree. There are parts of this bill with broad bipartisan support. Long overdue increases to
Absolutely.
dependency and indemnity compensation, and especially a special monthly compensation, for example. But we do not exist in isolation here,
Yep.
and we must take the bill as the total sum of its parts, especially since the majority has blocked amendments to this bill,
Yeah.
as they have done so often in this Congress. And regrettably, we will also hear the chairman say that cutting veterans' benefits is the only way that we can get them done.
Hit the like button, y'all.
This is patently false,
Thank
and the
you.
chairman knows it. Everyone in this chamber knows it, and everyone in America knows it as well. There are any number of other places we can find money for these priorities.
Look at the board, y'all. Look.
We don't lack money around here. What is in short supply is, at least on the other side of the aisle, is the political will to use some of it on behalf of America's veterans. $1.5 trillion for the Department of Defense.
You see that?
$70 billion for the Department of Homeland Security, and hundreds of millions of dollars for permanent tax cuts for the wealthy, none of it offset, all of which the chairman voted for enthusiastically. Just 10 days of President Trump's folly in Iran would pay for 10 years of benefits under the Major Richard Starr Act. Let me say that again. Just 10 days of President Trump's folly in Iran would pay for 10 years of benefits under the Major Richard Starr Act. So the question we have before us today is this: why do you insist on offsets now? Why only now, when we are trying to do work on behalf of our nation's veterans, do you care about the deficit? Why are Republicans holding veterans' priorities hostage, including the overwhelming top priority of veterans, the Major Richard Starr Act, in exchange for multi-billion-dollar cuts to veterans' benefits? That's a mystery to me.
Yes.
And it's a question that Chairman Boss and Republicans will struggle to answer as well. I want to point to this chart here.
Hey.
Mr. Speaker, let me finish with a quote from just one veteran in opposition to this legislation. And I quote, "I am a disabled Michigan veteran and lifelong conservative. Please pass the Major Richard Starr Act as a standalone bill. We do not support the Take Care of America's Veterans Act, H.R. 9237, and we will never elect representatives who want to cut veterans' benefits. How could Republicans propose this?" End quote. Now, I couldn't have said it any better. And there are thousands more comments just like this, as you can see here. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reads.
Hold on. I want to go back so I can read this for y'all real quick. Hold on. Did it skip forward? Hold on. It pisses me off. We would have funding for this and so much more if they could find it in their blackened little hearts to adequately tax corporations and billionaires. Elon Musk is worth over $1 trillion because of tax breaks and government contracts. But sure, the person getting $40,000 per year for their OSA needs to be addressed. This creates two tiers of veterans: the veterans who sprained their ankles dodging bullets, and the veterans who lost both their legs because they were in the mechanic bay back in the fob when a jacked under an armored vehicle failed are not different classes of veterans, nor is the veterans who were shot up in Fort Hood by Major Hassan any less deserving because they never made it to the airplane to deploy. They're all the same. Being hurt in the line of duty is being hurt in the line of duty. I completely disagree with it, as they're screwing over all veterans to pay for the small subset of veterans who can qualify under the MRSA. If they truly cared, they wouldn't rob all veterans to pay for this, as there are plenty of other ways to fund this act. So let's go back here. Who was it? Andy, you had a question. So Andy, your question was like, any advice on someone filing a BDD claim? I've got all my records and have 28 conditions in total. I met most of it, not all the percentage criteria. But how can work not to get snuffed like all my buddies at the CMP? So Andy, one thing I can tell you not to worry about is worry about getting snuffed like your buddies at the CMP. What I would advise you out is every condition you have looked at looked at the criteria, you know what you meet, go in there and just simply tell the truth. You're still in, so it's still service connected. It's 28 contentions, which is a lot of contentions. What I can tell you is make sure you go through every single contention to discuss exactly what you are experiencing, and make sure that it's annotated, and you will be fine. I don't think you should worry about the CMP exam and what your other buddies have went through. What I really understand and what I explain to veterans is this: if you go with an open mind, if you go with the intent of being honest, if you go knowing that you have the medical evidence, the diagnosis, and what you need, then you should be fine, okay? Just because the examiner did not check a box, the raters can go against exactly what the examiner is saying. You always have somebody else on the other side. Now, I know sometimes that raters are not what they're supposed to be, but we can't hold on to that. So you still have the opportunity to file a supplemental, do an HLR, you have all of that. But what I can tell you is go with an open mind, make sure that you're being honest, you're being thorough, and you're taking your time to discuss everything and answering all the questions that they ask honestly, and leave the rest up to, to God. That's it. And I hope that works out for you. Told you Pete DOD hit the jacket. They didn't pull Pete through all these changes. Yeah. The proposed legislation is not very cynical ploy that goes far beyond offsetting the cost of TMRSA. It would give Congress a license. Yes, this would give Congress the license to take more money away. But the question is, before I go forward, and I want to talk a little bit about this, why would they still want to cut tinnitus and OSA now that the VA has pushed the proposal back to 2027? Why are they still adamant that they want to go ahead with TCAVA and take out the sleep apnea and tinnitus when the VA, remember they said that this was brought forth in the Biden situation? Why would they still want to cut it when the VA has said, well, we're not going to do it right now. We're going to talk about it in 2027. Why? Why do you guys think that they still want to push it? Anyway, let me just hit the button. Let me go forward a little bit because I know that we went back a little bit.
And researchers under the Biden administration as part of the ongoing disability rating modernization efforts. In testimony before the House Veterans Affairs Committee in January of 2026, VA offered stated.
Was I going? Oh, I was right. Okay.
From Illinois.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, the ranking member knows VA has an obligation to update disability conditions based on the latest science and medicine. And in his opening, he said that I am not a doctor. He's right. I'm a Marine. I'm a truck driver.
Yeah, they want the money.
Somehow I've been blessed to serve our veterans as a chairman of the committee.
Be quiet.
He's not a doctor either. Likewise, he's been blessed by his community to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do want to do is, for the record, the proposed changes for sleep apnea and tendinitis will not develop. They aren't developed by Congress.
You can't even say tinnitus.
They were developed by VA physicians. They are doctors, medical experts, doctors, and researchers under the Biden administration as part of the ongoing disability rating modernization efforts. In testimony before the House Veterans Affairs Committee in January of 2026, VA officials stated that the department intended to continue moving forward with the respiratory ear body system rulemaking and anticipating completing those efforts by the end of year 2026. That testimony was not given by career staff acting alone. In fact, just this morning, VA officials confirmed that they are planning to move forward with the proposed rule on sleep apnea and tendinitis. The testimony represents the official position of the department at the time it was delivered to Congress. So the question before us is not whether Congress created these proposed changes. We did not. VA's announcement makes their intention clear. This is moving forward regardless, but Ranking Member Takano would rather play politics. The question is whether the savings associated with the political deployment by the VA and changes by the VA should remain in their control and the bureaucrats' control, or do we make it through our Article 1 power to reinvest into our veterans and their families? HR 9237 chooses veterans. Speaker, I would ask unanimous consent. The testimony of both Josh Jacobs, Biden Undersecretary of Benefits, and Nina Tan, Trump's Executive Director of Compensation Service, be entered into the record.
Without objection.
With that, Mr. Speaker, I would like to yield 3 minutes to the gentleman and a good friend from Ohio's 2nd District, Representative Taylor.
The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I think.
Okay, hold on. Because I want to know who he spoke to at the VA that told him that they were still going to do the proposal when the VA had the day before put out documentation that they have moved it to 2027. So you know he lying. Who's the person at the VA that told him this? But who anyway, let's go on, because y'all know I can get on, I can sing a song.
Thank Chairman Boss for yielding me the time. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of the Take Care of America's Veterans Act. America's veterans represent the best our country have to offer, and it is time for Congress to deliver meaningful reforms to our veterans benefit programs that improve the quality of life for America's warfighters. That's why I'm proud to be an original co-sponsor of the Take Care of America's Veterans Act, which will modernize and enhance the delivery of VA benefits for veterans across our country. As we continue to celebrate America's 250th anniversary, it is important that we realize that freedom is not free, and we wouldn't have this amazing country without the sacrifices of countless service members and their families. Now is the time to reaffirm Congress's support of our veteran community and put veterans first by passing this legislation. I'm particularly proud that this legislation includes the expansion of GI Bill benefits, increases benefits for severely disabled veterans and their families, and ends the wounded veterans tax thanks to the inclusion of the Major Richard Starr Act. These reforms are long overdue, and I applaud Chairman Bost and the work of the House Veterans Affairs Committee for their role in crafting this legislation. This bill upholds the promise we made to our nation's veterans that upon completion of their service, we would take care of them and their families.
And you know.
It is our duty as temporary caretakers of our republic to fight for those who keep us safe, and veterans are at the top of that list. On behalf of Southern Ohio, I want to thank all our veterans and their families for the countless sacrifices they have made to keep our nation safe. This vote is for them. Mr. Speaker, I urge all my colleagues to support this bill, and I yield back my time.
Sit down,
Reserve.
please.
Gentleman in reserves. The gentleman from California is recognized.
Here we go. It's about to get funky.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the chairman has said several times that disability ratings changes in this bill that this bill makes are coming anyway. That's simply not true. He's counting on a golden egg that the VA has simply not laid yet. The first Trump administration floated changes to conditions like sleep apnea and tinnitus beginning in 2019. Yes. And then 4 years ago, when VA sought public comment on a notice of proposed rulemaking, the 2022 changes that during the Biden administration VSOs and many members of this body spoke loudly and clearly and unanimously in opposition to them. And what he doesn't mention is that the Biden administration walked away from those proposed rule changes. VA listened to those voices in 2022. And as a result, the proposed rule has been on a shelf since then. Just a few short weeks ago, VA clarified that it is not planning to take any action on this proposed rule. That was from a VA spokesperson in public. And so there's nothing inevitable about these rules changes, which are going to bring about the golden egg of savings, the $57 billion that the chairman is counting on in order to pay for this bill. The savings that will come from cuts to veterans' disability benefits. A tweet that he's referring to this morning, quoting their tweet, quoting an unnamed source, is not the same as rulemaking.
Thank you.
This is simply the majority trying to find any excuse possible to cut benefits they view as overly generous, which has long been their goal. And that's why Americans for Prosperity has endorsed this bill. The architects of Project 2025 have been desperate to cut benefits for years, and they've been trying to find a way to touch veterans' benefits. I'm not going to let them do that.
Thank you.
And even showing up at the majority's press conference to cheer on their efforts just a few short days ago. And now they finally have a majority who's willing to bow to their demands to harm veterans. Now, my majority counterparts have picked an interesting time to care about science again. Their remarks today attempt to demonstrate that they are working to align themselves with the best science, to update and modernize the disability ratings schedule. Yet my majority colleagues fail to see the irony in legislating away veterans' benefits before VA completes a thorough review of the best science. They are substituting their own judgment for that of VA clinicians and researchers who actually understand the medical evidence related to these disabilities. If this bill is passed, the expertise of VA and the years of work that goes into clinical determinations become moot. If you don't believe me, just listen to what one of VA's top doctors, former VA Secretary and Under Secretary of Health David Shulkin, stated regarding this bill's proposed changes to disability ratings. And I quote, "Any modernization of the VA schedule for rating disabilities should be instead conducted through an independent, evidence-based medical review led by the Department of Veterans Affairs with opportunities for public comment and congressional oversight. And any savings resulting from that process should be reinvested on improving disability evaluations, rehabilitation services, and veterans health care, not used to finance unrelated provisions of the legislation." If my colleagues are suddenly interested in following that science, they should let the experts continue their work independently without the political pressure that passage of this bill will inevitably create. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to yield 2 minutes to my good friend, Representative Underwood. She's a former member of this committee who currently serves on the House Appropriations Committee. The gentlewoman from Illinois, Ms. Underwood.
The gentlewoman from Illinois is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of my bill, the Lactation Spaces for Veteran Moms Act. Serving veterans is one of the greatest privileges we have as members of Congress. And we must do everything that we can to ensure not only that they receive the benefits that they have earned through their service and sacrifice, but also that they can access those benefits with dignity that they deserve. That's why I'm so proud to lead the bipartisan Lactation Spaces for Veteran Moms Act with Congresswoman Ashley Hinson. As a nurse, I have seen firsthand the benefits of breastfeeding for moms and babies. My bill will ensure that every VA medical center contains a clean, private space specifically designed for nursing and pumping. Our veterans and their families have given so much in service to our country, and they deserve the same level of support and respect when they seek care. For VA medical centers to meet the needs of young families, caregivers, and our hardworking VA employees, they need to be equipped with proper facilities. In the VA medical centers that lack a dedicated lactation space, moms are forced to use unsanitary spaces like bathrooms or struggle to find a private corner. That is unacceptable. Our veterans deserve better. That's why we must pass the Lactation Spaces for Veteran Moms Act now. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentlelady yields.
I reserve, Mr.
The
Speaker.
gentleman yields. Reserve. The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Illinois is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't think that the ranking member is caught up on current events. It just recently,
Look at him.
to confirm what we already knew, the VA officials confirmed that they are moving ahead with the changes on tinnitus, sleep apnea, and disability benefits.
Where
VA has made it no move to withdraw the sleep apnea and or those from the changes that will then save the money that then the bureaucrats will control. So as we're moving forward, the ranking member can keep saying things that aren't true, or you can admit this is an issue, and that's where we're coming up with the revenue. That being said, I would like at this time, let me tell you that the next person I want to yield time to has worked on the Major Richard Starr Act for years, as did his father before him. And with that, I want to make sure that we give 2 minutes to Representative Bill Aracas from Florida's 12th District.
Gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the chairman for your leadership. And thank you for this great package that will support our veterans. I rise today in strong support of the Taking Care of America's Veterans Act. First and foremost, this legislation delivers long overdue justice by including key provisions of my Richard Starr Act. I promised Richard Starr that we would get this done, and we're in the process of doing it. And again, on behalf of our true American heroes. So, which I remain committed to achieving full concurrent receipt. So we're going to still get anything that's not included in this bill, we're going to pursue for the benefit of our veterans. This package takes a major step forward by providing immediate relief to nearly 60,000 combat injured veterans. Mr.
It's more than that now.
For far too long, medically retired service members wounded in combat have been forced to forfeit a portion of the retirement pay they earned simply because they also receive VA disability compensation. And that's wrong. That's the so-called wounded veterans tax, and it's fundamentally unjust. These men and women sacrificed their health in defense of our nation. They earned both benefits and they deserve to receive both. This legislation also strengthens veterans' access to health care by expanding choice, improves the VA claims and appeals process, and increases support for catastrophically disabled veterans, caregivers, and surviving spouses. We've been working on these issues for many years, Mr. Speaker, and it looks like it's going to come to fruition. So we appreciate it so very much. And I want to thank the chairman for his leadership. It enhances mental health services, expands care in rural communities, improves transition assistance for service members entering civilian life, and modernizes VA facilities to better serve future generations. Most importantly, this bill honors the legacy of Major Richard Starr, who fought tirelessly to correct this injustice before his passing. His determination has brought us to this moment. And today we have the opportunity to continue that fight on behalf of thousands of deserving veterans. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields. The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from California is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I ask for unanimous consent to insert into the record a coalition letter from 10 veteran service organizations, a resolution from the American Legion Department of Texas, a statement from the American Legion Trujillo Sheets Post 28 in Durango, Colorado, and emails from Minnesota Blue Earth Post 89 of the American Legion and American Legion Post 58 in Belleville, Illinois, all in opposition to this bill.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, the chairman has made the claim that VA is going to move forward with taking away sleep apnea and tinnitus as conditions that veterans may claim disability ratings for. I would like to ask the chairman, who at VA has made that commitment?
Who?
He has tweeted out this morning that this is the case. I yield to him 15 seconds to tell me the name of the person at VA who has confirmed that VA is moving forward with these changes to disability ratings.
Come to the front. Come to the front. Come. He ain't got nothing to say.
We heard from the open statement that came out of the VA from the leadership at VA, and that was sent out this morning under the approval of the secretary.
So you are saying that a secretary who backed away from changes to disability ratings in terms of medication, the intent was to say that if veterans take medication or get some sort of treatment, that if their conditions improve, that they would then have that their disability ratings could then be lowered. He backed away from that after immense protest and opposition from veterans and veterans organizations. You're telling me this very same secretary is telling you that he's moving forward with a $57 billion cut to disability disability ratings. I yield for an answer.
You know what? He can't.
That is exactly the position of the VA and their administration. That was said this morning. It was sent out this morning. It is now being reported in the news.
Reclaiming my time, Mr. Speaker. Reclaiming my time.
California is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, the time is mine. Reclaiming my time.
The gentleman from California is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, there's been no public statement by the secretary. There's been no named official from VA today.
Made no statement.
I defy the chairman to produce such a name. He's making a claim, but again, I will contend that they're counting on a golden egg and disability cuts, savings on the backs of veterans that has not been laid yet.
Yeah.
And I contend will not be. At this time, I'd like to yield 2 minutes to my good friend, a veteran of the U.S. Navy, a former member of this committee who serves now on the House Armed Services Committee and the House Transportation Committee, Representative DeLuzio from the state of Pennsylvania.
The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentleman from California. I rise in opposition to this bill, and I rise in opposition to any effort to cut veterans' benefits. And let's be clear, this bill raises the cost of the VA home loan program during a housing crisis.
It does.
And this program and this bill cuts VA benefits for current veterans who don't have them and for troops downrange right now for two of the most common conditions they may experience, sleep apnea and tinnitus. This bill sells off more VA and veterans care to the private sector. It continues the privatization push of the Trump administration and so many congressional Republicans. And I am not going to take a lecture on fiscal responsibility or accept this argument from the Republicans and the Trump administration that you have to fund veterans programs by cutting care or benefits for other veterans. The same people who have funded an Iran war at the tune of billions and billions of dollars, the same people who added nearly $5 trillion to the debt through their one big beautiful bill, which by the way has a new name now, I guess. We've lost track of that. That bill, by the way, would also add $19 trillion over 30 years. So there's no problem on the Republican side with adding to the debt when it comes time to give tax breaks and tax giveaways to the ultra rich and to corporations. But when it comes time to care for veterans, now they're counting pennies. And let's be crystal clear about what this bill does. It says to troops downrange right now who are in harm's way that they have to have worse benefits than veterans have today to pay for benefits and care that other veterans have earned. That's ridiculous. It's why groups like the VFW and the IAVA and others oppose this bill. It's why I think Democrats and Republicans should oppose this bill on the floor today. For this reason and many others, at the appropriate time, I'll offer a motion to recommit this bill back to committee. If the House rules permitted, I would have offered the motion with an important amendment to this bill. The amendment would change the offsets used in the bill. Instead of reducing the VA home loan benefit and cutting disability benefits for sleep apnea and tinnitus, it takes unobligated, appropriated but not committed funding given to the DoD and the One Big Beautiful Bill and uses it at the pay for. I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record the text of this amendment.
Gentlemen, time has expired.
15 more seconds.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
I ask
it is.
unanimous consent to insert into the record the text of this amendment. And I hope my colleagues would join me in voting for the motion to recommit. Mr. Speaker, with that, I'll yield back.
Without objection.
I reserve, Mr.
The
Speaker.
gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Illinois is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I would like to yield 2 minutes to my good friend, the gentleman from Michigan's 7th District, Mr. Barrett.
The gentleman from Michigan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I rise today
like this.
in support of the Take Care of Americans Veterans Act. This package includes more than 60 bipartisan bills.
The fact that he stands himself up here and be complaining of the fact that every time the VA calls him, he's never able to answer, or he missed an appointment, or he can't get an appointment. This is the same man that was down there the other day in Michigan talking about all the issues you have with the VA, and you stand your hips up here to talk about you agree with Daffy Duck on this. It's sad to me.
That modernize, enhance, and reform the delivery of health care and benefits for the entire veteran community. It also delivers numerous bills that veterans and VSOs across America have been vocal about, like the Major Richard Starr Act, the Love Lives On Act, the Access Act, the TAP Promotion and Expansion Act, and more. It also includes 8 of my own specific bill priorities, including the Assist Act and Cruise Act, which will help disabled veterans and businesses make necessary and timely modifications to vehicles, ensuring that veterans have accessibility to move about. The Sherry Briley and Eric Edmondson Veterans Benefits Expansion Act to finally deliver the first notable increase in over 30 years to our most severely disabled veterans and our Gold Star families who have sacrificed so much. My Clear Communication for Veterans Claims Act and my Delivering Digitally to our Veterans Act, which will ensure that every veteran can understand the messages and communications they receive from the VA in a simplified manner, and even opt in to get them electronically. My Veterans Community Care Scheduling Improvement Act, which will make it easier for veterans to schedule medical appointments closer to home and easier to access. The Acquisition Reform and Cost Assessment Act to strengthen oversight of VA acquisition with the ginormous contracts that they often enter into. And finally, my Home Affordability for Guard and Reserve Act to empower more of our National Guard and Reservists to take advantage of the VA Home Loan Program. Today, they would wait 6 years to qualify for the VA Home Loan Program. And under this bill, they will qualify once they return home from their training and are in good standing with their unit. Worked hard on these bills for nearly 2 years. And they, and more than 50 other bipartisan bills just like them, are all major wins that will improve the lives of our nation's heroes. Thank you to Chairman Bost, and I look forward to the passage of this bill, and I urge my colleagues to vote yes, and I yield back.
You mean the home loan rates that y'all went ahead and increased and added more to it so that it can offset something else? Man, just please.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from California is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, there's overwhelming opposition to cutting veteran disability benefits to offset the cost of this bill. Major VSOs like the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Disabled American Veterans, and Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, along with numerous others, all oppose this bill due to the offset. But more importantly, veterans themselves are overwhelmingly opposed as well. Check out any online veteran forum, and you will find thousands of comments from both veterans and active duty service members decrying these proposed cuts. Veterans of all eras agree that their receipt of benefits should not be predicated on cuts to benefits for another generation of veterans. It's our job to listen to them. There are other ways to fund this bill's provisions. We just need to have the political courage to stand up and do what is right for our veterans. And at this time, I'd like to yield 2 minutes to my good friend who serves on the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology and the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, Representative Menifee from the state of Texas.
The gentleman from Texas is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to oppose H.R. 9237, which, if we are being clear, cuts veterans' benefits. The presidents and my colleagues on the Republican side in Congress have no problem sending our men and women off to war. But the real measure of a nation is not just how it treats their service persons when they're in active duty. It's how it treats them when they're no longer dodging the bombs, the bullets, and the storms at sea, when they're no longer serving in war. As a Congress, we have to do right by our veterans, and this bill simply does not do it. $57 billion in cuts for disability benefits for veterans. It raises fees, $4 billion on veteran borrowers, home loan refinancing fees. I'm the son of 2 veterans, and we would have never purchased our first home when I was in high school were it not for a VA home assistance loan. And that's the same not just for me, but for so many folks across the 18th Congressional District of Texas. I keep hearing my colleagues on the other side of the aisle say that we have to find money to offset to be able to pay for some of the other benefits in this bill. But if we're pinching pennies, let's tell the president to end his war in Iran, which has cost taxpayers billions and billions of dollars. It's time for this Congress to do right by our veterans. I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to vote against H.R. 9237. I yield back.
I reserve.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Illinois is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd like to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Pennsylvania, 9th District, Representative Mauser.
The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you very much for your leadership, Chairman Bust. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of the Take Care of America's Veterans Act. Our veterans answered the call to serve, sacrificed on behalf of this country, and defended the freedoms every American enjoys. They've earned a Department of Veterans Affairs that delivers the care, benefits, and support that they were promised without unnecessary delays or bureaucratic obstacles. And that includes community care, Mr. Speaker. That's one of the aversions that we and obstacles and reasons for opposition, because they're pretty much against community care initiatives. This bipartisan package brings together more than 60 common sense proposals that truly make this happen. And by the way, it's supported by the American Legion, Military Office Association, Wounded Warriors, Elizabeth Dole Foundation, Korean War veterans, Vietnam veterans, AMVETS, Gold Star spouses, and the list goes on. Importantly, very importantly, it includes the Major Richard Starr Act. Voting against this bill is voting against the Major Richard Starr Act, which ends the unfair wounded veterans tax for eligible combat injured retirees. These veterans were medically retired because their service was cut short by injuries sustained defending our country. They should not be forced to give up a portion of their military retirement pay simply because they also receive VA disability compensation. This bill corrects that injustice.
No, it does not.
It also strengthens access to community care, as mentioned, mental health treatment. It allows military widows to remarry and maintain their benefits, cuts through the VA red tape, strengthens claims appeals process. They are not. This is not about cutting of benefits. It's about advancing services with some modernization initiatives as well. We owe our veterans more than the words of gratitude. We owe them this action. We owe them the Take Care of Americans Veterans Act. And I thank again the chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman reserves. The gentleman from California is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to point out that yesterday, House Republicans released a $95 billion supplemental for the reconciliation bill they want to bring forward next week for Pentagon spending, farm assistance, and intelligence operations, all without offsets. We're talking $95 billion, none of them with an offset. Yet we are asking our veterans to pay for this bill, pay for the bill. Only in the case of veterans is the chairman looking for an offset. I defy the chairman to tell me whether he will ask for an offset for the $95 billion supplemental that goes to Pentagon spending, farm assistance, intelligence operations. I eagerly wait to hear his answer. And Mr. Speaker, I reserve.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Illinois is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I would like to yield to my good friend, Representative King Hines, for 2 minutes.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise before you today to lend my voice in strong support of H.R. 9237, the Take Care of America's Veterans Act. This comprehensive package is designed to address the critical needs of our nation's veterans. The legislation represents a meaningful step forward, closing resource gaps that have persisted for far too long. Amongst its provision are vital improvements for veterans affected by traumatic brain injuries, expanded survivor benefits, and increased access to medical care in the U.S. territories and the freely associated states. I'm proud to note that 2 bills I authored are included in this package. First, the Territorial Response and Access to Veterans Essential Life Care, or TRAVEL Act. This provision, which already passed in the House, establishes a VA program enabling physicians to travel to the U.S. territories and deliver essential medical care directly to veterans. The second bill, the U.S. Vets of the Freely Associated States Act, empowers the VA to provide telehealth services and mail prescriptions to veterans residing in the Republic of the Marshall Islands, the Federated States of Micronesia, and Palau. These Pacific Island countries are among our closest allies whose citizens serve in our military at exceptionally high rates, yet they lack access to basic care and benefits. This legislation will help remedy that inequity. The Take Care of America's Veterans Act is not just important, it is urgent. Our veterans deserve the best we can offer, and this package delivers on that promise. I want to thank Chairman Bowles for his leadership and dedication to veterans everywhere. I urge my colleagues to join me in supporting the passage of H.R. 9237. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Sit down,
Sure.
please.
Gentleman from California is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I continue to ask the chairman, in advance of a $95 billion
He's not going to answer.
supplemental for Pentagon spending, farm assistance, and intelligence operation, none of this are the Republicans seeking an offset. Only the chairman, in this particular case, when it comes to our veterans, is demanding that veterans pay for veterans.
Taking compensation.
We could pass this bill without having to ask veterans to pay for veterans.
Write this down.
Actually, for disabled veterans to pay for veterans.
Text me
So I
that,
asked the
Brent.
chairman again, does he plan to seek an offset or demand an offset for the $95 billion supplemental for Pentagon spending, farm assistance, and intelligence operations, none of which are the Republicans intending to pay for, but their rules and their policy is to make veterans pay for veterans. And I reserve.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Illinois is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I have no more speakers,
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm ready to close, and I reserve.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from California is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, in listening to the chairman today and at the Rules Committee several weeks ago, it's clear to me that he's been picking his words very carefully.
Has been.
He's been very specific that this bill, the so-called Take Care of America's Veterans Act, would not impair current veterans. And I'm not sure if the chairman fully understands how disability benefits, how the system works, but if he truly believes what he's saying, or if he truly believes what he's saying. But what he is saying isn't even remotely the full truth. The bill can and will lead to cuts for those who already have service-connected disability ratings for sleep apnea and tinnitus. This is because anytime a veteran applies for a rating increase or applies for a new rating for some other condition, VA can and does review previous ratings, sometimes even lowering them. So it's foolish to think that VA won't apply the new rules for sleep apnea and tinnitus when veterans have their ratings reviewed.
Yes.
Further, his remarks fail to take into consideration 2 other critically important populations here. First, these cuts would make service members currently serving who may be incurring these injuries right now ineligible to receive compensation for service-connected tinnitus or sleep apnea. So those service members President Trump keeps sending into harm's way in this foolish war with Iran would be ineligible for these benefits. That should give us all pause. And let me just say, a vote yes on this bill is a message that we're sending to the service members currently serving in and around the waters of Iran and the Straits of Hormuz, and our service members that are stationed at bases who've already faced incoming missile fire and subjected to the blasts that have surely affected their eardrums, we're saying to them that they will not be able to apply to make claims based on tinnitus, much less sleep apnea. That is the message a yes vote will send to them. That is why I say vote no. In addition, the chairman and his colleagues fail to acknowledge that the existing veterans who have yet to file a claim for tinnitus or sleep apnea, I'm talking about a group of people, not the current service members, but veterans who've yet to apply for a rating. These two groups of veterans, that is current service members and veterans who've yet to file, will be treated worse than those that came before them. This contract will unilaterally be changed on them and for the worse. How my Republican colleagues are okay with treating two veterans with the same exact condition differently is beyond me. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, this is the largest cut to veterans' disability benefits in history.
They're coming with something else, y'all.
Being used to pay for this bill. When you are not demanding offsets for $95 billion next week, I don't know how you all can live with yourselves. And with that, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields. The gentleman from Illinois is recognized.
Sleeping fine, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, here you go.
I'm ready to close, and I reserve.
Does the gentleman from California yield or reserve?
I reserve.
The gentleman from California reserves. The gentleman from Illinois
I'm ready
is
to
recognized.
close, and I reserve.
The gentleman from California is recognized.
You see how boasted?
Mr. Speaker, throughout this process, I've tried to stay up to date on what veterans are saying online about the so-called Take Care of America's Veterans Act. I found the discussions to be enlightening. And before my colleagues say I've cherry-picked those comments, I urge them to pull out their phones and take a look at the comment sections on any social media post discussing this bill. It will become clear to you that opposition to this legislation is coming from veterans on both sides of the aisle. And let's take a look. I quote, I'm quoting from the comments. This creates two tiers of veterans, end quote. Quote, veterans should not have to take a reduced amount to provide savings to pay for fellow veterans. The U.S. government should honor their commitment to us, end quote. Quote, this is a false choice. Find the funds without making veterans literally pay the cost, end quote. Quote, if they truly cared, they wouldn't rob all veterans to pay for this, as there are plenty of other ways to fund this act, end quote. Quote, pitting veterans against veterans, end quote. Quote, you taught us to take care of each other. This bill contradicts that, end quote. There are thousands more just like this from veterans in each of our districts telling us to vote no on this bad bill. And if my colleagues won't listen to my concerns here, I urge them to listen to the veterans, dependents, caregivers, survivors, and advocates in their districts. We cannot today, tomorrow, or ever balance budgets on the backs of veterans who have already sacrificed so much for their country. Instead, we must honor the contract we made with our nation's veterans and reject the false choice Chairman Bost has foisted upon us.
He's not a veteran.
I join the millions of veterans across the country who vehemently oppose H.R. 9237, the Take Care of America's Veterans Act, and urge everyone to do the same. Thank you, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields. The gentleman from Illinois is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to respond to a few claims that the veterans do not want this package. It's just not true. The ranking member can disagree on the bill. He can disagree on the offset. He can argue that they would have written the package differently. But I do not think it is accurate to suggest that veteran community as a whole somehow united against this legislative package. The package has support for a wide range of organizations, including the American Legion, the Veterans of America, Vietnam Veterans of America, Mission Roll Call, Wounded Warriors Project, Military Officers Association of America, AMVETS, Concerned Veterans of America, Tragic Assistance Program for Survivors, Gold Star Spouses of America, the Veterans Survivors Coalition, the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Veterans Justice Alliance, the National Association of the State Approving Agencies, the ALS Association, Elizabeth Dole Foundation, Air Force Sergeants Association, American Optical Association, Avalon Alliance Action, Career Education Colleges and Universities, Commission Officers Association, the USPHS, Canines for Warriors, Korean War Veterans Association, Military Chaplains Association, National Defense Committee, National Military Families Association, USCG, Chief Petty Officers Association, Americans for Prosperity, National Federal Development Association, National Taxpayers Union, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Those organizations represent veterans, survivors, Gold Star families, wounded veterans, military families associated with professionals who work directly with the people. This bill would help. When the ranking member claims that veterans do not want this package, that ignores millions of voices in the veterans community who are asking Congress to act. This bill includes long-standing priorities for veterans. And importantly, it does so in a way that is paid for and capable of actually moving from here to the Senate and to the president's desk. At some point, we have to decide whether we're going to keep talking about these promises or actually move a package that can become law. I believe that the package is a serious response to step forward and reject the idea that veterans do not want this Congress to act on this bill. Also, whether they want to admit it or not, the problem was with most of these organizations that were in opposition is because they didn't want the offset. That offset, as I've told you this morning, as the VA has said exactly what we said, they are going to implement it. Now, the question for my colleagues is very simple.
What?
Do you want to use your Article I power and make decisions as we should in Congress to direct that money to our veterans and where they need it? We have sat and looked at these over and over and again. We've also passed some of these bills and sent them over to the Senate to die because they don't have an offset. You know what? This isn't an easy game.
Wow.
And it's not a game. If you don't believe this Marine is serious about helping veterans, and I'm telling you, I took a lot of crap this week. And I can tell you this, I will stand and always stand for my veterans.
You better sit down.
I'm the son of a veteran. I'm a grandson of a veteran. I'm a nephew of a veteran. I'm the father of a veteran, and I'm a grandfather of 2 of them. Ladies and gentlemen, I've heard a lot this week. And I'm going to tell you, we've worked hard and did the best we can to put the best bill forward. It's the best bill that's been around in decades. And do you want the bureaucrats to make the decision and not support those areas where we are trying to help our veterans? You can love it, you can hate it. But I'm telling you, this is the best thing we can do for veterans right now. I would encourage all of my colleagues to support this legislation. And with that, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. All time for debate has now expired pursuant to House Resolution 1423. The previous question is ordered on the bill as amended. The question is on engrossment and third reading of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Third reading.
A bill to amend Titles 10 and 38 United States Code and other federal laws to improve benefits for veterans and the administration of the Department of Veterans Affairs.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Pennsylvania seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I have a motion to recommit at the desk.
The clerk will report the motion.
Mr. DeLuzio of Pennsylvania moves to recommit the bill H.R. 9237 to the Committee on Veterans Affairs.
Pursuant to Clause 2B of Rule 19, the previous question is ordered on the motion to recommit. The question is on the motion. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The noes have it. The motion is not agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, I ask for the yeas and nays.
For what? The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, further proceedings on this question will be postponed.
He is mad, y'all. He pissed the festivity, like my mama would say.
Proceedings will resume on questions previously postponed. Votes will be taken in the following order. The motion to suspend the rules and pass H.R. 5362, if ordered. The motion to...
That's a different, that was in Georgia. That was for the Georgia VA. They took a long time for that. They took a really long time. for that. That was annoying as heck. I wanted you guys to see this right here, where the score was. Look at how tight, look how close it was. Oh, thank you very much for your donation. This is what say don't spray it looks. Thank you, Magnet 17 for your look at the numbers, y'all. Y'all think most this is on the motion to recommit, meaning that it would have to go back to the committee, right? Look here. You see, look at the numbers. Take a close look. So 4 Republicans, right? 4 Republicans. They said, yeah. Look at how many said nay. So you know they over there trying to talk these 4 Republicans out of this for them to switch. So let me try to speed this up a little bit so you guys see what's going on here. Let me try to glide it forward a little bit. It went for such a long time. I can't remember how long it went for. Do y'all know how long it went for who watched it? It went for a long time. Let me see. Still there, still there, still there. Then all of a sudden this happened. Look what they did. I'm back, guys. My power just went out. What in the world? It just went dark in the entire house. Almost lost my mind. Almost literally lost my mind, y'all. Whew. We was just having a good time. What's up with the shenanigans? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to edit this video. Okay, hold on. Let me get the chat from there out of here. Okay. You was wondering what happened? Me too. Woo, I was scared for a second. Anyway, we back. So thank you guys for being so patient with me. So if you look right here for a second, they were 4 yays, right? They were 4 years, yays, and then all of a sudden it went to like 3. Hold on, I got to go forward for a second. Right here. Did you see the switch? Did y'all see the switch? So I think they went behind the scenes and they talked to the other people, and they went and convinced one of these Republicans, like, what are you doing? You gotta.
On this vote, the yeas are 210 and the nays are 211. The motion is not adopted.
Bose is pissed. He's pissed.
Pursuant to Clause 1C of Rule 19, further consideration of H.R. 9237 is postponed. Okay.
Look at this. Look at this. Where's Bose at? Because I think in one video you can see him. He was not happy. He was not happy. I'm looking, but I can't. I think it was in one of the things that he was not happy. He was upset. So what I think is going to happen, let me try to fast forward this a little bit so we can talk about this for a little while. Okay, I think that was the end of it. I don't know if it was any more. Do y'all know if it was any more? I don't know. But anyway, so that was the end of it. But what I think was happening and why they were waiting so long, I think they were trying to find the other 5 Republicans that did not vote. They were trying to find them as fast as they could be, but time ran out. So while they were trying to convince the 4 to say yeah instead of nay, guess what happened? Time ran out, and guess what? It died. It died. So right now, TCAVA is out the window. It's out of the window. Ain't nothing shaking, nothing moving. Oh, Charlton, thank you so much. So let's see here, y'all. My 5 out of 5 chickened out. Now, why are veterans being asked to give up any ratings? Oh, thank you, Brina. I had to text somebody real quick. Okay, we're still here. No worries. Thank you. Did Congress just pull the plug on you? I ain't know no better. I would have said it. I wonder what happened. Congress thinks someone is spreading misinformation. Charleston, thank you so much. You're my first super chat. Sorry, power went out. Thank you so much. I don't know what that was about. They twisted someone's arm or gave them. Yes, they went back there trying to figure out who in the heck voted for. No, get to the other side. And I believe that's what they have been working to do the entire time. They were working to do it. Oh, he's mad. You know they're cooking up something else. Bose is unhappy means the good day for vets. Literally. He's going to go chow down an entire pizza. Yeah, his back going to get wider as time permits. Both seems to see an ENT doctor about the excessive juiciness. In the U.S. House, only a member who voted with the prevailing side can make a motion. Oh, thank you, Pit Kimmel, and welcome. Thank you. Because of that rule, you will sometimes see a member change their vote at the last minute, so they end up on the winning side. I saw that, and I was like, how you get to switch your answer? How you get to switch? How you go from yeah to nay? They may do this not because they change their policy position, but to preserve the option to move for reconsideration later if their party wants another chance. I totally understand now. I get it. So you see how nasty these people are? In order to get what they want, they will have one person go ahead and vote on something else in order to get what they want, when that person is not even, has not originally even been on their side. That is dirty. That's very, very dirty. So the question is now, what happens from here? Now, inside of the TCAVA, there were some really good things, right? So what happens from here? What happens now? What happens now? Not saying that was the case, but their tactics to vote. And thank you for that. Thank you. Wonder what they promised. Something had to happen. But the question is, where do we go from here now? Here's the thing, and I know we were talking about where the money should come from. Should it come from the DOD? Should it come from the VA? Now, the reason why I'm saying it should come from the DOD is because if you are medically retired, you know that your medical retirement goes through the Department of War or the DOD. It has nothing to do with the VA. Even when you are applying for combat-related special compensation, that also goes through the DOD, and then it goes to DFAS. It has nothing to do with the VA. When you apply for combat-related special compensation, yes, you need to give your rating sheet from the VA along with your letters from the VA, but that's all you give. Everything else is on the DOD side. This is why I feel like it should come from the DOD pot. Now, PD Boy done got $1.5 trillion. So you're trying to tell me that you can't give veterans who are medically retired some of that money? Are you going to drink it all out? And you around here testing for testosterone in men in the military? So how important is that? How important is the testosterone in men while they're active duty? I hope this stops Section 108. My BDD claim could be heavily impacted if these things change. Retirement is 31 October. Totally get it. It affects a lot of people. A lot. If tinnitus and sleep apnea is put in there, all hell is about to break loose. You know why it's about to break loose? Because it's not only going to be tinnitus and sleep apnea. Watch and see how many other things just start getting added. This is going to be a cycle that's going to start that is never going to end. So eventually, all the contentions that they think that they could have filed is not going to be that way. It is not fair that you done sacrificed, went overseas. You are currently in a war right now that you did not ask to be in, and you cannot even come back comfortably saying that you can file for something and comfortably know that you are going to be rated for it and get it. It's sad. It is very sad. Yes. And the thing about it is, if y'all have not paid any attention, because I be on all social media, Dougie has not said a word, okay? Dougie has not made a tweet on X. Dougie has not made a video on Facebook. Dougie has not said one simple thing that he supports TCAVA. Where's Douglas Collins on this matter? This is how much the VA don't want to be involved in this. This should only be DOD. Douglas Collins is not threading on what Representative Bo's talking about. He didn't have a VA representative. Now Dougie probably gonna call him behind the scenes and say, "You ding dong liar! You know good and well that we ain't told you that." I'm so annoyed. If it's two different pots of money, why the VA can't pay vets? Now, it is two different pots of money, but the VA should be paying based on disabilities. Now, when it comes to Major Richard Starr Act, that's on the other side. That is because we signed up for either the Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Coast Guard, whatever, and we were injured in combat. So they should be the ones who are funding the Major Richard Starr Act. It should not be the VA. The VA already have enough fish to fry. The VA is already getting frauded out of every dollar that they put in the contract with some of Dougie's friends. They really don't even have enough money right now because he asking for $488 trillion. Okay. But the DOD, these people, these veterans came from the DOD. It is Department of War that injured us. They should be the ones to pay. The issue is the younger service members over there fighting the war aren't even thinking about VA claims while they're future, but correct. Because right now they can't focus on that. And they probably saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna find my sleep apnea when I get out, baby." Sleep apnea is going to be in the history, okay? It's going to be in the historics. Because you ain't finna get Nathaniel. Nothing. Oh, so VA doesn't have any input. Yeah. The testosterone shops, yep. They can't even get menopause and pre-menopause information right on the VA side. So I don't even know why Petey Boy is trying to get some testosterone situation going on. I don't know. Them under their noses. Dougie is the new Mitch. Lord. Where is Mitch, by the way? Where's Mitch? Dougie has lost his count. Yeah, he ain't said a word. Yeah, retirement pay has nothing to do with disability compensation. It is two different pots because my retirement pay, my combat-related special compensation pay, that comes from DFAS. That does not come from the VA. It is two separate deposits when I get my compensation. The combat-related special compensation, the whole thing goes through the DFAS. It doesn't go through the VA. The VA has nothing to do with combat-related special compensation. The DFAS does the audit. DFAS tells you how much money you're going to pay. You set up a DFAS account. You have your RAS. You set up your SVP, which is your survivor benefits pension plan. All of that goes through DFAS. None of it has to do with the VA. If you call the VA talking about combat-related special compensation, they're going to tell you call DFAS right away. When you get approved for combat-related special compensation, it goes through your branch of service retirement department. This is why it should go through the Department of War. Because when I call HRC, I'm calling DOD civilians. Dougie will let the likes she had gave Tuberville and Crenshaw be the fall for taking away veterans' benefits. They have stated they don't care. They don't. Representative Crenshaw called OSA a BS condition. He BS. Dougie is too busy testing the fries at Steak and Shake. Yep, waiting for y'all to use y'all back pay to open up a franchise so he can get a cut. Mitch doesn't even know what world he in. Come, Lord. It's such a callous distortion because OSA can shorten one's life and all kinds of, yeah. If you don't have that CPAP machine and decide that you want to fall asleep one night and you decide to stop breathing and don't catch your breath to breathe, you'll be going to the upper room. People don't understand how serious it is when it comes to sleep apnea. You'll be going straight to the upper room. Even with tinnitus, you know what I'm saying? The ringing in your ear, it can send you to a place where you don't want to go. I cannot. Crenshaw lost his spot. So yeah, he's unhinged. Definitely unhinged. And Y'all know what I want to go over tomorrow? The reason why I did this tonight, I want to go over when Dougie was first interviewed at Congress and all the things that he had to say that he was going to do. Oh, baby, I got a lot of notes. I got a lot of notes because I took a lot of notes on Douglas. Okay? All the things that Dougie said that he was going to do when he was first interviewed in Congress. And they had this long 3-hour session where they asked him questions about what his plans were for being the Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs. Oh, we're going to have a time tomorrow. We are going to have a time. We're going to pick apart the lies tomorrow. We're going to pick apart the lies tomorrow. Because we had time for Dougie. Oh, we had time. So I went back and I did some research on good old Douglas. And when he was interviewed by Congress and when he decided that what he wanted to say and what he said compared to what's happening now, it's two different things. Totally. All right, let's see here. Hey, Skins, you're just getting home and you knew the comments. Congress would cut the juice so people see If y'all for one reason think that these people that sit behind that table and make the decision is not making the decision to benefit them, y'all got another thing coming, okay? Because you know what I want to do one day? I think if I have time, which I don't have time because I'm too passionate trying to help veterans than to deal with these shenanigans. But I want to sit down and the committee, one of the committees, I want to go through and see how many businesses do they own and how those businesses are connected to the VA. That's what I want to do. I want to just pick one of them apart. Y'all choose one because I'm going to pick them apart. What? You innocent? Emergency force vets to fund other funds. Everyone deployed and dangerous precedent for Congress to get their hands on this type of cookie jar. It's an offset. Yeah. And the fact that Bose was sit up there and lie talking about a VA spokesperson told him that they were still going to go ahead with the cuts. Who told you that lie? Because the last time I checked, okay, the VA said that they ain't going to do nothing right now. They fixing to take this through to next year. So do y'all know what was getting ready to happen? Y'all know what was getting ready to happen? If TCAVA had went through, tinnitus and sleep apnea would have immediately been cut. Been cut. They didn't give a ding down if the VA was going to do it or not. They had all intention to do it. It is still alive. It is still alive. You are very right, Patrick. It is still alive right now. I wonder who is lobbying for this bill. I wonder what goodies are in it. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go ahead and see who voted for the yays and the nays and put together some information for you guys too. These changes need to have, babe, listen, somebody put a comment up here earlier about giving Congress the leadway to be able to have an open budget. The moment that they got the leadway, okay, to have freely opinions at the budget and they can do whatever they want to do, all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. Bose might have slipped up in announcing that he spoke with an upper echelon VA personnel after he said that he couldn't take it back. And whoever spoke to him, they need to be slapped too. if the bill went to the Senate, would it need a simple majority or would it need 60? It would have needed a majority. And guess what? He had said the day before that he knew that his friends in Senate had already backed him. So that means he was already bumping his gums trying to get it passed. So he had all intent. But you know what? Don't make plans, because guess what? Sometimes your plans can get ruined because he just knew the day before. Remember what he said? My colleagues is already ready to pass this bill. Your colleagues went to sleep and realized that their children are going to be affected by this, and they said, not happening. Not happening. The fight is far from being over. They don't have the votes to pass it right now. We need to stay vigilant and continue. Yes, I'm telling you, they are cooking up something behind the scenes. You remember when they did the Senate committee hearing, when they first approved all the other stuff that was in TCAVA, the Major Richard Starr Act was not in there. Do you guys remember? I covered the hearing when they passed the Sherry Persons Act. They did all of that. It was TCAVA did not include the Major Richard Starr Act at all. It was not in there. They put that in there all of a sudden. Do y'all remember that? We covered the hearing. They will rewrite it. The next version might be longer than 600 pages and unpacked it with different bag of tricks. Yeah, they're cooking up something right now. It probably was Dougie who spoke the most. Who knows? We will be doomed. All it would take is for the right amount of folks. We all believe vets get much to be in charge of money. Boasting Pastor Dougie pillow talk. You ain't lying, Charleston. Shacking up. Divide and conquer. If the Democrats filibuster, I think it would take 60 votes, which I don't think enough Democrats would support it. So this is why they're trying to get it to go through now, because when election come around, because the man with the dead hand is not performing, they're scared that they're going to get voted out their seats. So they're scared that they want to go ahead and get this out of the way right now. Because if the other people get in the seats, then they know they're not going to have enough and it's going to go out the door. Okay? They had to rewrite to add mercy to try to get the support. Yes, I remember that. Every single vet bill that has been passed has strings attached. Unfortunately, yeah. Yep. Whoever both talked to the VA, they now know that he can't hold water. Going forward, he might not be kept. Baby, they deleted his number. His number. Look, yeah, they don't want it. They want it passed because when them midterms come around. Now, boss, I don't even know why you're trying to act like that. Okay, because you cutting up. You think people gonna vote for you when you spitting all over that man and you carrying on like this? You think you gonna get a vote like that? No, you're not late to the party. You ain't late. You never late. You always on time. The real Sir Gemini, how are you? Stay united, vets. Message your congressman agreed this recommit vote was a loyalty test and the headwinds exist, but they're still coming. United we stand. If you for one reason think they're not coming, they're coming. Now, this is the part that really upsets me. If you really wanted the Major Richard Starr Act to pass, why can't you single-handedly pass it, okay? And then whatever you have in TCAVA, remove the Major Richard Starr Act from there and get that to pass, and you can pass the Major Richard Starr Act on its own. Why can't you do that? If you want these medically retired veterans to get what they deserve, why does it have to be included in TCAVA? Because for the last 4 to 5 years, the Major Richard Starr Act has been shot down every single time. Every time. every time. Oh, yeah, always OT. No idea why they think this bill will be good for midterms. They've admitted it's divided the veterans community. Yeah. I wouldn't buy a car from, I wouldn't even ask for his opinion. I don't even think that I would feel comfortable standing next to Douglas because just give me the ick. And the thing about it is, y'all know that Takano is not even a veteran? Do y'all know that? Do y'all know that he has not served one day in the United States military? Do y'all know that? He is not a veteran. And the way how he is advocating for veterans, he deserves the respect. He goes ham for veterans. And Lieutenant Gade, with his one-legged self, sits his hips down with the, I don't even know what word to use, to go against his own kind. Meanwhile, this man is not even a veteran, and the amount of work that he puts in for veterans is unmatched. And I haven't seen no other person from the committee go as hard as Takano did. I haven't seen one. It is. Because I can't take it. It's posturing. Now the supporters will run political ads that so-and-so voted against vets. False narrative. But welcome to the swamp. Stay united, y'all, just like deployments. And Patrick, that's why I created this space. Because we talk about all things VA. We just don't only do claims. We go and we dig deep. So now I got some work to do. Because you know what I'm about to go do? I'm about to go research Bose, and I'm going to see exactly what he's connected to and how he gets his money. I am. I'm going to do a whole live on that ninja. I am. I'm going to do a whole live on him. I am going down to the nitty-gritty. I'm doing it like Civ Div did the other day on Old Dude. I'm going to just break it down. Because obviously, somebody got to say it. Somebody got to say it. This is the second attempt within 7 months to take away veterans' benefits. It started February 26th again. Yeah. Oh, we watched all the hearings. All the hearings. I'm following the money. He's not even a vet. Yeah, he's not. He's not a vet. Yeah, he's patriot. Correct. Fast track. Right. Yeah, I respect him. He's a real MVP. Yep. Hell yeah, shipmates. You're a patriot too, man. Thank you. Follow the money. Follow the money. If it wasn't for this channel and the passion, I would probably lost it. Thank God for a safe space. Of course, we come here and I let you guys freely say how you feel in the chat because we all need to, get out how we feel. First, I do not think the real Miss K and I are related. Second, with the name of Take Care of Veterans Act, who could be against it? Yeah, the real Sir Gemini and the real Miss K. I just read that Mr. Kool-Aid Man current term is set. Yes. Guess he wants to die on that TCAVA hill. Yeah, right to the people of Illinois in crayon to do some right. I'm going to dig. Skins, don't worry. I will spend a few late nights. So now my favorite drink is the Mango Peach Refresher, sparkling, sugar-free. And I just fill up my cup and I have me some protein chips because I can't drink, protein coffee late at night. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to go to Sonic. I'm going to get me a drink. I'm going to come back. I'm going to put it in my trusty dusty Stanley. Depends on what color I'm feeling that day. And this is what I'm going to be doing right here at this computer. I'm going to dig into both to see exactly if he is part of, I know he is. There's going to be some type of connection. Now, this might take me a little while, but I'm going to find out exactly where we at with this. Brina gave it to the name. Brina, where you at? Brina, where's the name that Brina called it? Take away from Veterans Care Act. Is that what it was? Yep. The bill should be renamed Take Money Away from Veterans Act. Correct. This is sad. This is something that we have to keep our eye on. This is. If you, for one reason, think that they are not cooking up something, like somebody said earlier, we got to stay united. I have a question. Am I just against Section 8? Yeah, you're against the TCAVA 108 because they want to cut the tinnitus and the sleep apnea so that they can pay for the Major Richard Starr Act. If you included it in there, you shouldn't want to cut nothing. Why are you trying to cut? We need the money. Yeah, typical dog and pony show during election year, and they're using vets for the show. Yeah. Taking compensation away from veterans. Yep, that's it. So right now, you have to keep your ears and your eyes open. You cannot be sleeping. Every committee hearing, you guys know that I stream it, regardless of if it's boring or not, because I want you guys to understand something. When Senate committee hearings are boring, there's little things in there that they say that you miss because you think is boring. Okay, I watch them. I don't care if I'm washing dishes. My TV downstairs, I'm like, I gotta watch this. I don't care if I'm in the car driving. You can ask my daughter. They were like, dang, mama, can we listen to something else? No, because I gotta hear what's going on. So they have their headphones on because they don't want to hear anything about veterans benefits. They probably know how to file a VA claim by now. Okay, because this is what I live and breathe. To my fellow Fed workers, telework got brought back up again. It has, and 8,000 employees are about to get cut too. Vets benefits are in danger. If these yahoos get their way, it will meet a date similar to food stamps and Medicaid. Yep. Email or call your representative. They may not be on the committee, but they talk to each other. Y'all check on the Appropriations Committee, which is, we do it. You know, Mad Researcher, I cover every hearing, every single hearing on the spending I do. We should call our representative and let them know. Yes, you should. Question, how they're transferring money from the VBA to DOD for pensions. So here's the thing, Charleston. The VBA pays for disability, VA disability. The DOD pays for combat-related special compensation and CDRP, right? Which is concurrent. What is it? Concurrent. This is for people who've done 20 years or more, and they have 50% or more disability. Concurrent receipt, I think that's what it's called. So the DOD pays for that portion, right? That comes through DFAS, and the VA pays for VA disability compensation. I hope you understand. So they ain't transferring no money, right? If you get CDRP or if you get CRST, that comes from, thank you, OT, concurrent receipt. So if you get concurrent receipt or you get combat-related special compensation, that comes from the DOD side. If you get VA disability, that comes from VBA. So they're two separate entities that pay. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Even though you get both of them, they still do an audit with each other to make sure you don't owe the other money. So if you owe the VA money and you getting paid from DOD, they gonna take that money, okay, until it's paid. So they do audits to make sure that you don't owe the federal government any money. They both on the same mission, is to take your money if you owe them, right? You blame Killer Hammer. I can't stand that guy. I can't even watch him. I just can't. I can't stand him. He's very disrespectful. Lieutenant Dan, that's a whole nother conversation. Boast and Broomhilda are part of the group of repubs that met on the Hill with Lieutenant Gay, aka the Blue Falcon, a couple of months ago. They not even hiding the intentions of dividing and conquer. Correct. They're separate pots of dollars. While DFAS is involved, we applying for CRSC and CRDP. Correct. So the VA disability is on one side, and CRSC and CRDP is on the DOD side. This is why you have heard the conversation about why does the Department of War not cover the Major Richard Starr Act? That's why. And Petey Boy said that he do agree with the Major Richard Starr Act. He does think that they should be paid, that we should be paid our full retirement. But you think Petey said he'll go ahead and do it? No. No. Because if y'all haven't realized something, when it comes to the government have to give you money, they suck. But when you have to give them money or you owe them money, they take it out of everything that you got, to include your Social Security check if they can, right? But when it comes to having to give you money, that's a whole different story. So the fight for this is going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult, but we can't let nothing slip through the cracks. Nothing. Now, Bose is up for, his seat is up for re-election. Come on, in January, that's right around the corner. And he was hoping and praying that he can say that he had these 60 things that was passed for veterans so he can get veterans vote. Well, guess what? It didn't go that way. Just like Lindsey, Lindsey had said he was going back up there to the White House so he can do whatever he was going to do for whatever he was going to do. And Lindsey ain't make it. His heart couldn't take it. Mitch, who knows where Mitch is at right now? Be careful what you do, because guess what? When you do wrong, it's going to come back to you. It is. Yeah. I'm going to do some digging into that man. I'm going to know when he was born, when he was in the Marines, what he did. I need to know, because he is just too adamant at the fact. Very much so adamant. Most of them are up for a re-election. Why they're trying to rush this bill, but they know it won't survive once midterms. So my thing is, and I'm glad that we're talking late night so we can talk. My thing is this, right? If you know that you up for re-election, wouldn't it be the easy way to go ahead and say that you have approved the Major Richard Starr Act under your belt, instead of now people going to say don't vote for him because he tried to underhand veterans? Don't that sound like the most logical thing to do? Wouldn't it be the most logical thing to do? I just became a registered voter in Nevada. Okay. Yep, we got to vote. Why? What did you do in the Army? Assuming that's the ranch. I was in the Army. I was in transportation. I went from transportation to legal. Booth was lobbying for those unaccredited sharks. I will not support anyone who has not supported vets and federal workers, as you should. They can't. They're so evil, they don't think logically. They don't, because they're thinking about their own self. You know what I realized about people in politics? And this is why I said this the other night. I said it and I'll say it again. I do not think that the people who are making decisions for veterans should be politicians. I don't think so. I don't think that the benefits of a veteran and what they should get should be based on the color red or blue. That's just my spiel. I think it should be a group of people who are not separated by the left and the right, who are willing to put the well-being of veterans first. So if you want to be in the committee when it comes to making decisions for a veteran, it shouldn't be if you with the man with the dead hand or if you with the man with the alive hand. That's just my opinion. I personally think that it should be, because the way how these people are set up, that you want to sabotage veterans for a vote, it sends me to a whole nother place, and I need to call my therapist. The same group trying to get rid of Social Security are coming at correct. Because guess what they're going to say next? Guess what they're going to say next? Oh, they get in combat-related special compensation, they get in VA benefits, and they get in Social Security. Oh, we about to cut something. You think they're going to let you have all that? No, absolutely not. Because they, you know what, when I tell people, oh, I'm a vet, they be like, what do you do? And I tell them, oh, I'm just advocating for veterans. Oh, y'all veterans got money. That irritates me so bad. So bad. So bad. He lobbied for those sharks. Must be because he loved vets so much. Yes, I was in 88 November. I was in the Army. Yes. Transportation management. Correct. And to me, if you aren't a veteran, you should not be in leadership for the VA for a vet position. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree. The sad thing is the vast majority of veterans aren't as involved in forums such as this. This is, yep. There are a lot of veterans who don't even have a clue of what's happening right now. They are oblivious. They don't have a clue of what's getting ready to happen. They don't. They're so busy. They're so busy chasing their VA disability claim that they don't even have a clue that this is cooking up. Now, we saw that they brought a temporary fix to the housing problem. Once they brought that, they haven't said a word. But what they did was, do you know that if you are getting ready to buy a second house for a veteran and you have under 70% that you have to pay the VA funding fee? Do you know that's involving TCAVA? Do you know that? That's why Takano was talking about the funding, Deluzio, is that his name? Was talking about the housing funding. Because guess what? If you have a house, you're trying to buy a second one, and you don't have 100%, you're going to pay the funding fee, because that money is what's going to pay for the one of those. That's going to be the funding for one of the things in TCAVA. That's how they're going to get the money. And who was the head of that? Boast again. He was the head of that. Y'all see the pattern here? It's a pattern. This is a pattern. Triple dippers. Yep, they call them triple dippers. This Congress and veteran have been going on since George Washington Day. Thanks, HEV family. Been watching these geezers trying to relive their youth on the floor, knowing that they'll be lathered up with Bengay later on tonight, and these comments have made my night. Yeah, I can see them doing something like that. Some of us will have private pensions, VA compensation, and be able to get Social Security. So think about this. If you did 20 years in the military, right? You got out of the military. That means you get your military retirement. You get 100% VA, right? And you work a job that pays you. And then when you leave that job, you do another 20 years and you get retirement from that. That's 4 checks. Do you not know that there's a bill currently right now to say if you make over 100K that you should not get your VA pay? Are y'all clocking? This is what's happening. There's a bill out there that somebody has been cooking up, that if you make a certain amount of money, you should not be getting your VA compensation. Do y'all know that that's been cooking up? They want to know if you get over 100K, you shouldn't even be getting VA benefits. They don't even want you to go to the VA. These people are plotting. And oh, we're not going to privatize the VA. Absolutely not. That will never happen. Douglas says it will never happen. I had to check out my COXO the other day that they didn't know about HR 9237. Most active duty have no idea. Yeah, because if you get med boarded, then you are eligible for combat related special compensation based on if your injuries were combat related. They have no clue. I think the funding fee is to cover the Medal of Honor. Yes, they cut something. Yes, they're cooking it up. I did not know that. I learned so much from you and your math. Yeah, they're cooking up. Y'all just Google it. Just Google that they want to make a change that if you are making over 100K and you get VA compensation, they don't feel like you should be getting benefits at all. They think that VA is you shouldn't get it. But when you raise your hand, you took the oath, you got on an airplane, you went to another country, you lived in sand, dust, dirt, you eat them nasty MREs, and gave you indigestion bad. You took a shower, you came out, it was a sandstorm, so you couldn't even take a shower. You had to go to the bathroom in a porta potty for 9 whole months. Okay? Then you had to go to the port and smell all these filthy things that you had to deal with. All the fumes that you could possibly breathe in. And you trying to tell me that you get to pick if I get my compensation or not. Okay? When I was the one that was doing it, okay? I did it. I withstand everything that I had to withstand. So now that you kicked me out the military because I didn't ask to leave, you kicked me out. So if I decided, and then you gave me my disability compensation. Now, if I decided that I want to have a work from home job where I'm inside of my home and I'm answering the phone and they pay me a certain amount of salary, you're trying to tell me that even though I sacrificed, I rose my hand, I did all of that, I went over there, that you want to take away what's deserving of me because I have a job that makes money. E4 Mafia, still active after service. You know it. I had no idea about that proposal. They about to have vets working at McDonald's. Yeah, no. You know what they want to do? They want us to invest in steak and shakes right now. That's Dougie. He wants us to invest. Veterans, if you invest in steak and shake, they're going to give you a discount. Raise my hand. I was in the U.S. Air Force through. We didn't have porta potties. We had hotel bathrooms. Yeah. I was in a porta potty for 9 months. The bill makes 0 sense. That's like me claim my VA benefits based off of if something happened to me. Correct. I've already endured, okay? I already can't even go outside when my neighbor cut the grass because I could barely breathe. And you're trying to tell me that you're going to propose to cut my stuff because I want to stay at home and continue to work. Because let's be realistic. Let's be realistic here. The average veteran who's 100% without any kind of kids get what? $4,000. Now, the average rent that a veteran pay or mortgage is about between $1,000 and $2,000. Now, if you take $2,000 from $4,000, you're left with $2,000. Now, let's talk about the veteran has to have a car to get to their appointments because the VA ain't sending nothing to pick you up. And if they are, you ain't never going to make it there. Okay? So you have a car payment, you have insurance, right? You have to buy groceries because the food stamp people say that you don't qualify because you make too much money. Your light bill, you have to have a cell phone because how are you going to talk to the VA who never have an appointment on time or whatever the case may be? You got to pay for Wi-Fi because you got to check the dumb old My VA app every single time to make sure you don't owe them no money and that your claim is processing. Okay, you have a cell phone bill, you have car payment, you have the basic necessities of insurance, and you have to buy food to eat, and you have to put gas in the car to get there. That's just the 5 basic necessities right now. That $4,000 is dead. Who can survive? Who can survive off of that? Who? I see veterans that don't even have kids that's doing DoorDashing because they can't even afford to live. Because if you call the VA to say that you're getting evicted, they can't help you because, oh, we ain't got no money, we ain't got no funding. Let's see. Proposal suggests veterans with household income excluding VA pay exceeding 135 could see compensation reduced. Under the proposal, the benefit would decrease by, there you go. There you go. There you go. Yep. Because the veterans are already fat. They're already overweight. They're already obese. They're struggling at home because they can't go outside. They got that Sorry Move program that they send you a scale in the Garmin and you're supposed to do what with. And then they want to put you on all these drugs that make you gain weight. And then nobody want to take a GLP-1 because everybody don't want, what is it? Stomach paralysis and gastroparesis and all that other stuff that they're giving you. Y'all just, I believe if you are serving the military, retired, you early for injuries, you should get correct. Because I didn't say that I want to go. And then guess what? I went past my ETS date and you kept me for 2 more years. 2 more. I kept getting extensions every 6 months for 2 years. So I did more than the time I was supposed to do. Exactly. And then I got my 2 broke best friends in here that's always hungry. So how am I supposed to feed them? Because the extra what? How much money do you get for dependent? $98? And then I have a child that's in college. Yeah, just the VA just sends me. That's $1 for every $2 is how security retirement works. Yeah. So it goes back to this. If your income, if your household income, so guess what? If you work along with your spouse work, so if your spouse make 70,000 and you make another 70,000, you exceeding 135 could see a compensation reduce. So it says your household income, not just your income, the household income. So everybody in the house income is going to be on the table and they're going to take your compensation. They're going to take away, okay? Take away because you decide to go to school, get an education, and work a great job. Meanwhile, the people that's making the decision in the Senate, they decide that they don't want to come to work. What happens to them? They still get their money, don't they? Do the House representative and the Senate and all them people still get paid when they don't go to work? Yeah, we're getting pumped. Literally. We're on the show of HVV. Show us that we're getting pumped. Meanwhile, veterans are over here worried about their disability claim, right? They ain't have a clue that this is cooking up. Oh, I'm going to get my 100% and I'm finna go work this job. And baby, they cooking up for your check. I'm just letting you know. Stay united, write your reps, It's so easy. I'm a Washington resident. Just messaged Representative Takano to thank him for his leadership and support. Stand by for a full roll call of who voted for what. Mitch been missing for a month. The other guy was gone for. Anybody know what Mitch is? Mitch missing. Politicians should have been paid $1,000. Yeah, they should. You know how much money they make? They make a lot of money. Hold on, I wanted to pull up something for you guys. While I was here, that I had seen. Hold on, guys. I'm on the Book of Faces. I wanted to pull up something for you guys that I seen. I wonder if I can get into it. Probably not, because I don't have oh, let's see if I can go into it. Okay. So let me share my screen here for a second. Remove. Let's share this. Let's share. Hold on. I want to show you guys something. This is where Bose got his little he got his little thing from. Do you see what this is saying? VA officials confirmed to me they're moving ahead on the plan to change the tinnitus and sleep apnea disability benefits. We intend to continue moving forward with the audiology rulemaking originally put forward on the subject. Key points in the Take Care of Americans Veterans Act today. That's what he was referring to. Who is Leo Shane? Who is that person? That's not no VA representative. Who is that person? Let me see. Are y'all seeing? Because I was reading in y'all. Do y'all see this? This is what he was referring to. Now, who's this person? Who is Leo Shane that he can trust it? Well, who is this man? Who is this man? This the thing I'm talking about. He just went up there and decided to choose and decide that he was going, he was just going to do whatever he was going to do. He was going to say whatever he was going to say to make sure that he can get his little point across. This is what we're dealing with right here. This is what we're dealing with. Anyway, let's see y'all comments before I get off of here. If they keep taking dollars away, I'm not going to have no. You ain't going to have no money. Not to sound crazy, but they probably shouldn't do these type of these to same people who train to kill. I'm just saying, yeah, because yes, they do get travel pay and food stipend also. Yep. Our Republicans voted to advance the bill, except 3 that opposed, which was Representative Anna Paulina Luna, Representative Max Miller of Ohio, and Representative Jeff Vandrew in New Jersey. Thank you for that. Yeah, this bill is not like the pact that Congress gets set. Oh, what? They get $79 a day for per diem for lunch money? You definitely right. I could eat 2 steaks. Because a 2-pack of New York ribeyes, I think it's $18.99 a pound for a ribeye. So I could have got 2 steaks. I got 2 steaks. And some sweet potatoes. No vote. Representative Boebert, Wesley Hunt, Nancy Mace, Caramilla, Elise Stefanik, Demdon Davis, Debbie Dingle, Steph Moulton, Jerry Nadler, and Mike Quigley. So those are the people that didn't vote. Leo Shan. Oh, it's a journalist. Okay. It's a defensor from Politico with a focus on Congress. Oh, thanks for that. I didn't know that. The VA kicked that can down the road to April 2027. Based on the results of the midterm, might just keep kicking it. We'll see. Leo Shan is a journalist. Thank you for that, guys. I did not know who that is because I'm not really on X. So when they did not vote immediately on the TCAVA, what did that mean? That they ain't gonna vote? That they ain't paying that no mind? And they gonna hold out on what they want to hold out on until they can do whatever they want to do? Because I don't know why. And the thing about it is they'll go and vote for everything else, but they ain't voting for the right thing. Because you can't tell me that the Major Richard Starr Act should have been something that's fall through the cracks for so long. If you had the best interests at heart for veterans and you knew that medically retired veterans needed the same pay that retired veterans get, you should never. Thank you, Skins. Yep. Anyway, y'all, I'm glad we had this discussion, but I want to know something. So I want to go over tomorrow Dougie being interviewed by Congress when he was confirmed. So I want to go back to his confirmation hearing back in January of 2025. That's what I want to go over tomorrow. I think those in favor of the TCAVA miss. Yeah, I think they are. And the people who are in favor of TCAVA, I see, and I'm in this combat related special compensation group. I'm in a couple of them. Some of the people that really agree with the TCAVA, they only agree because they get more money, right? But they don't see the effects of them getting more money, or they don't really care about the effects of getting more money. Even though it was explained, like they don't care because they've been waiting for this long. And right now, I know you guys have not heard me talk about the Barron Act. And we talked about a little bit on the 6-hour panel that I had about a week and a half ago. But the Barron Act allows you now, they take off getting back pay for 6 years, and you get back pay all the way from the time that you got out the military. So right now, the DOD is swamped with going back through all of the combat-related special compensation applications that they've processed already and paying these people all the way back to the time that they got out. It's going to be a very long ride. They have thousands of them to do. So now that they have that and they have this TCAVA getting ready to come in, the Major Richard Starr Act, it's going to be a lot of work on the DOD. And remember, they don't have a lot of staff either. Where's Dougie? Is he back on the leash? Yeah, he touring right now. It's been Republicans blocking all the time. Funny why it's such a big thing for them now. Makes me think some friends will be making money. Yeah, so the Republicans been blocking the Major Richard Starr Act for a long time. So now why all of a sudden you want to put it in TCAVA? Does that make any sense to y'all? It don't make no sense. It doesn't. 3 of those are senators blocked the vote. Yeah. So now why all of a sudden are you so gung-ho to make sure that it passed? Because they get something out of it. You can't tell me that they're not getting nothing out of it. You can't tell me that. Absolutely not. This is a show. This is definitely a show. Something is going on behind the scenes when it comes to that. You can't tell me. You can't tell me that they did not agree with it, and now all of a sudden they agree with it. Now, there's something I want to say, and you guys might not like what I'm about to say. What is really the plan behind the VFW and the DAV, right? What's their motive? Because what's really their plan? something smells a little fishy, but I'm not going to say it yet. I'm just going to wait it out. Now, I don't got nothing against the VFW or the DAV. I don't have any bone to fight with them, whatever. If you guys give them your money, that's great. If you go to the pub, go down there and sit down and drink and parlay with them, that's okay. But here's what I have to say, and I did a members only live because I really don't want a whole bunch of riffraff in my comments, so I made it members only. Now, when the VA had proposed that they were going to cut this tinnitus and the sleep apnea, where was the VFW and the DAV when that hearing was happening? And while that hearing was happening, and even after that hearing, why did you not sound the alarm then, but now you sound the alarm now for TCAVA? That's just one of the questions that I have for the VFW and the DAV. Now, why did it have to come to this point, right? Where now all of a sudden that you don't agree with it, but when the VA, when Ms. Tan sat up there and told, and told that man that this is what they were going to do and this what they planned, why did you not wake up with them hats on your head the next day, and do something about it? Why did you have to wait till TCAVA hit the table? And first of all, you didn't even jump out to say that you don't agree with it on the first swing. You had to make sure that it was all of this before you jump in. Now, you had full opportunity to draft all the letters and do everything, cook up whatever you was cooking up between February and June. And you did absolutely nothing. But now all of a sudden, when people call you to the carpet, now you want to go side with, oh, we don't agree with TCAVA, or we don't do this, or whatever the case may be. But I digress, because I'm just a girl. Yeah. They're basically putting us against each other with our own benefits. Dirty but genius. Mitch is supposed to be in a rehab. What a joke. Mitch gone. I'm probably in the upper room. They're busy ironing their hats. Yeah. That's the question I have. And that's why I did the members only live about what I want to talk about in there about the VFW and DAV, because I don't trust them. Yep. They're going to have to adjust with a time such as this. Advocacy for veterans have changed, but they haven't. It's like they're using decade-old playbook. Correct. Is this the raftiest one on here tonight? And yes, the VFW and DAV let us down all the time, every single time. So you wait till now when Bose decided that he want to put MRSA inside of there and then put tinnitus and sleep apnea in there. But Ms. Tambid said that they were doing it. Why don't you go down there to the VA and tell them that the body structure that they haven't updated since 1945, that they've done 11 out of 15, and that they're still waiting to do, that they need to hurry up. These are the things that you need to be down there with them hats on and doing. What are you doing now? Okay, now that TCAVA is laying a little bit low, what are you doing? What are you doing? You just want people to, how much is it to sign up for the entire year? How much is it to sign up for the year for the VFW and DAV? That's all I'm saying. My opinion is the DAV and VFW got an earful, yeah, and saw future drops in membership. So they need to do something to save face. All for the AL. I don't know what they're thinking. Yeah, you're cooking up something. Somebody told them something that they had to jump on the bandwagon, because if they didn't jump on, they were going to get what? They're going to get dragged. So they jumped on. Okay, and then let's talk about the MOAA and the, what is the NDAA? You know, they get compensation too. So they backing Bose. They backing him. Y'all, did y'all see the bunch of people that's on the board behind him? Those are the people that's backing TCAVA. So we can go back and look at that another day and talk about those organizations. but they don't care about veterans either. If they back boast and they back the fact that they should cut tinnitus and sleep apnea, they don't care about veterans. They will rob veterans to pay veterans. And I'm not telling y'all what to do because you guys have your own mind, but I'm just showing you. I'm just pointing out the things that might not be right there speaking out to you, but those people that's on that board to him that he said is backing him, they don't care about veterans either. They just make money off of veterans. If you haven't realized something, people who make money off of the back of somebody else is going to support something regardless of how bad they hurt them. They don't care because guess what? They say that the love of money is the root to all evil, the love of it. And that's what they thrive off of, making money off of the backs of veterans. And they allow veterans to continue to suffer and be homeless and be hungry because guess what? The federal government is not going to help them. But I'm going to get off my mic. So are y'all riding at dawn tomorrow for Dougie's confirmation hearing? We'll do that tomorrow night. Let me know if that's what y'all want to do. If not, I can just go to bed because I've been spending a lot of time on the YT here lately. Y'all want me to do the the almighty dollar. I want to review the confirmation hearing for Dougie that happened in January. Because I want you guys to hear some of the questions that they asked him and how he answered compared to how he answered now. It's all about the dollars, follow. It's the root of all evil. Works for me. Okay. I will. I'm going to go to bed when I get off of here. I'm going to go lay down, take me and sleep. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow night I'm going to do it early because the confirmation hearing is quite a little bit long. So I'll probably be up here probably about 6 or 7 p.m. So that way we can get through it. And can we get an open mic from National FF to give your voice a break? Actually, I have to reach out to them tomorrow to see what their availability is for next week because we have been cooking up some things. Has Dougie evolved? Absolutely not. It's gotten worse. Yeah. All right, y'all. I got to go to bed so I can be able to be live tomorrow because my throat definitely needs a break. If you don't know, I do consultations and I'm talking all day. And I actually did a couple today, which I usually don't do on Saturdays, but I had a few veterans that really needed some help. And so I did a couple consultations today. And so my throat is going to be on fire here tomorrow, but I'll make some ginger tea and go out for a walk in the morning. But anyway, guys, as always, stay informed, keep advocating for yourself because you know that HVV is advocating for you. Good night. May God bless you all. Thank you. We'll see you later. Yep, because it's midnight. Good night, fellow vets. Thank you. So, guys, be kind to each other. Okay? Dougie is still the same washed up cars as he is. Take care. Keep the power. No problem. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for you subscribing. Thank you for your likes, your shares. I appreciate it all. Be kind to each other. Share this with another veteran. It's okay. We got all our feelings out tonight about TCAVA, and we'll talk about Dougie tomorrow. Until then, guys, I love you down and take care, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
You're not alone. You got a voice. Stand strong. Stay informed.